Hello, my name is Jessica and I'm here with Beta Virtual Assistants. It's been very interesting. I'm in so many different groups, so Discord groups and sort of mastermindy type places that kind of talk about investing and things like that. And the variety of opinions on like the new USA administration and their effect on investing and crypto related stocks and crypto itself has just been really interesting. And the whipsaw, I'm convinced that Bitcoin is going to go up, but I don't know when. And so it keeps bouncing around. And I have decided, heck it, you know what? If it's under 100,000, I am buying some. And so I have been, every time it drops lower than the last time I bought it, I buy some more. Trying to get up to my one full Bitcoin allocation, which is not going to happen in little dribs and drabs, but it eventually will. Of course, it is tax season, so we are head down, buried deep in trying to reconcile all of our clients and make sure that they're prepared for tax season, because it's like what people don't realize when they think about crypto taxes. Like, number one, people and crypto taxes, they don't want to think about it because it's like, oh my God, that sounds too hard. Just like push a button and be done with it. And that is what all of the crypto tax softwares out there cater to. They say, oh, come use our software, and you push a button and the tax report runs, and then you're done for the year. You just hand that to your accountant or upload it to your favorite tax software and you're done. And that really is what they cater to. But what they don't tell you about that, I was actually speaking with a coach yesterday, and she was talking about how AI is going to replace and make obsolete so many industries and so many positions. And like, she thinks accountants are on the way out. She thinks that AI in a few years is going to be capable enough to prepare taxes for people. And then they're going to be, but there's going to be like an adoption phase where it's like, nobody will trust it, so nobody will do it, and then a few people will trust it, and then people will hear, oh, it was easy, it didn't take that long, maybe it costs less to get it done, and it still got good results. And so like, it'll transition over, and she thinks that accountants are just on their way out because they won't be needed for that like basic part of it. And they need to transition into advising. They need to transition into making what they offer valuable to their clients. And that's how I really feel about our clients. Is we don't just input the data for you, we interpret it, we make sure that it's telling the right story, we ask you to clarify. And I'm not sure AI really knows how to, maybe they could do this, but we go through with our clients and we say, okay, we see this thing happening. Oh, so there was this client this week. I've been trying to reconcile him for a couple of weeks, and for a couple of weeks I have said, where did this thing go? And for a couple of weeks he's been like, he hasn't answered. Have you ever noticed when someone won't answer a question, it's not that, it's like they don't know, and so they just refuse to answer. And you're like, if you could say, I don't know, I could try asking in a different way, but you just get stonewalled. This happens in my teaching a lot, is like, if you ask a kid to do something and they don't know how to do it, they just won't. And we never grow out of that. So this guy, he did not know how to do it. He did not know what had happened to it. And then yesterday he asked, can you run my taxes? And are they close enough you can run them? And I was like, okay, fine. So I made some executive decisions, and I'm like, okay, we're going to mark this as loss. We're going to mark this as income, which is what a normal tax software does. If the tax software can't figure out where your stuff came from, then when you mark it as, if you don't tell it, like if you have Bitcoin come into your account from who knows where, and the tax software doesn't know where it came from, the tax software doesn't necessarily tell you this, but they're going to mark it as no cost basis, or they'll mark it as income. Either way, you're going to get taxed on it, full value. And that's how a lot of people's taxes get overreported, is they're moving around crypto in a way that their cost basis gets lost, and the story, it never gets told. So we sit there and we go, okay, what happened to this? And I did that with this person. I said over and over, what happened to this? This stuff came in, and he told me where it came from, and then he did not tell me where it went. And so I asked him and he didn't know. So I decided, okay, I'll create a mystery wallet. And if we find it, then later we can maybe fix it, fudge it up a little bit to correct the taxes that we already turned in. So I did that, and then I ran the taxes, and oh my goodness, I ran the tax. I like to run the taxes, and then I make a little video for the client, and especially if I've reconciled it for them, and I say, okay, here's what you need to notice, and here's this part, and I explain why this happened, and why we treated it this way, and what we did here and there, and everything, and this is how you run the buttons so you can get your tax report printed, and this is the part you give to your accountant, and everything, and go through the whole thing. And as I go through it, I'm also scanning the numbers. And if something looks weird, I'm like, wait a minute. So we're scanning the numbers, and I looked at it, and I was like, wait a minute. There was like $500 of Bitcoin that had no cost basis. And I was like, that can't possibly be right. I think we tracked all the Bitcoin. Why doesn't this cost basis have? So I go into the records, and this person had tried to reconcile in the beginning himself. He bought our course and he tried to follow the instructions. But if you don't completely understand the instructions and you don't completely understand what you're doing, you might mess things up. So what had happened was he made an entry for a exchange that you have to enter manually. It's not automatically imported. And so actually, it is automatically imported. There's a CSV he could have downloaded and uploaded, and it would have been right. But he did not do that. He created a transaction, and he said deposit of $500 USD. And then for some reason, he put the Bitcoin amount in the fee box. Well, the software interpreted that as there was a $500 Bitcoin fee paid. And of course, there was no Bitcoin in the account yet because the next transaction was buying the Bitcoin. So the software's like, this $500 of Bitcoin has no cost basis. And so I go and I'm like, what the heck is this? And I go and I look at the date in question because the software lists when it was sold. And I say, oh, okay, so he created this transaction where there's a deposit of $500 and then there's a $500 Bitcoin fee in the fee box for no good reason. Let's delete that. So we delete that, and then I ran the taxes again. Oh, everything is better. The Bitcoin was fixed. There was no $500 of lost cost basis, which is an additional $500 of capital gains that he was going to report. So then I was like, I think I might have sent the taxes to him at that point, or I might have seen something else, and I fixed that, and then I reran the taxes a third time. I ran the taxes 3 times, and then I sent it to him with a video, and he came back to me with, why do I have gains? Because, which is everyone's favorite question. I've had so many problems in the last year or two investing that why in the world is it showing I have gains? Because I don't have any gains. I've only been losing money. I've been pouring money into this project and I haven't gotten anything back. And it's like, okay, well, there's a couple of things that we have to unpack here. So first of all, if you've been putting money into a project and you haven't taken anything out, that money is still sitting there. And until it is removed, until you have gotten that money either back or you have officially lost it, it's just sitting there. So you may not be worth as much as you were, but it's called paper losses. Paper losses don't count for anything. So, yet. They keep threatening to tax us on paper gains and losses, but they haven't managed to pass it yet. So, paper losses don't count. The only things that count are the ones that we've actually bought and sold. And so he had actually been involved in a project that was paying out payouts every day. And so I looked at that, and it ended up super complicated because this project keeps running out of money. So they keep coming up with new ways to get people to give money to this project. And so they sold these things that pay out every day. So that's great. And what we did is we took the funds that he used for that, and we are like put it into an account. And then every time he gets a payout, we trade that funds that he put in for the funds that he gets out. And then that's a return of capital, and it should be a wash. It should be like a taxable transaction that we need to report the details of, but there's no gain or loss. It's just basically a wash. So got all set to do that. But they also were selling just the tokens themselves. And in the same account, we bought those tokens, and it turns out, okay, so there were some tokens that he bought a long time ago for a very different price. And they were in the same account. as the ones that he was getting turned over every day, that was paying out every day, as were the same ones as the ones he bought individually this fall. So what ended up happening is the cost basis of these three different activities got really mixed up. So I went into his taxes again and I took it all apart and I separated those three activities out. So we got the original purchase that's going to sit there and someday it will have a cost basis that came with it when it originally was bought. And then there's the new purchase, which has a cost basis right now, and he might have sold some and he might have whatever, but he's received that. And then there's the payouts that come out every day. And when all that was said and done, instead of a $500 gain, he now had a $500 loss at the end of the day, just because the things were mixed up. So taxes, depending what you're doing, they can be totally easy. Like if you buy some Bitcoin and Coinbase, and that's all you've done, you don't even have to report taxes because all you've done is buy it. When you start moving it and when you start selling it, then you have to report. So if I bought a Bitcoin and then I sold a Bitcoin, now I've got to report the sale. And if that's inside Coinbase, Coinbase will give you a statement at the end of the year, or they'll tell you to download it to a tax software and that says, I bought Bitcoin at this price, I sold it at this price, this is the difference between, and this is what I report on my taxes. And it's very easy. And you can really use any tax software for that. But when you start doing more complicated things, when you start getting involved with projects that have different phases and different activities and different complications, or if you get a wallet and you're trading, I tell this story often a lot too. Oh, I was working on another client last night who took Bitcoin out of her, she took a Bitcoin out of a wallet and sent it to an exchange to cash out or whatever she was doing. But the way that the tax software recorded it directly off the blockchain, it said there was more than one Bitcoin. So there was the amount left the wallet, and then it got deposited. The remainder got deposited into actually a different address. So it makes it look like say 2 Bitcoin left, and then 1 Bitcoin came back. Well, what happened to the other Bitcoin? Like it just vanished. and that was just a quirk of the way the software was reporting it. Because what really happened is she took 1 Bitcoin out and she sent it somewhere. But that wasn't obvious at all. You could only tell that if you noticed the difference between what left the wallet and what returned into a different wallet. The difference was 1. So things like that, where you don't want random amounts of Bitcoin showing up. You don't want random amounts of Bitcoin disappearing. You want to know where everything is. And if you don't want to do that on your own, if you don't want to be the only person who is, if you don't know what you're doing, then you come find somebody like us. We love helping people figure this out and getting the story straight so that your taxes, at the end of the day, you might not always be happy with the results. Like I tell the story often about the woman who came to me and she'd had $160,000 worth of gains in Bitcoin, which she had to pay taxes on. And then she had invested that into XRP, and XRP at that point crashed for 2 years. And so she was sitting on paper losses like twice as much as of 160,000. It was like 340,000. So she was not very happy with the answers I had for her, because that's what happens. But if you can find somebody who can even advise you, which is another service we offer our clients that we service year round, we have a premium package and we make sure that their accounts are up to date pretty much whenever they ask. It takes us a couple weeks to work it in, but when they ask, we update their accounts and we clean them up. And then at the end of the year, when it's time to run taxes, we've already asked them all the questions and it's all ready to go. We just push the button and we run the taxes and we tell them what to report and which part goes where and all that stuff. But at the same time, we also offer presentations at the end of the financial year that says, okay, have you thought about this? Have you thought about harvesting your losses? Have you thought about how are you going to pay your tax bill if you have taxes? Have you thought about offsetting some of your gains with your losses, or offsetting some of your losses, taking advantage of those to offset some of your current gains and reset the cost basis in that way? And we talk about, does it make sense to take income from a protocol this year, or does it make more sense to take it next year? So we try to go through all of that and help clients think through that. And I think that is so important. which you're not going to get from an AI software. So hopefully there is a market around for the service and help that we offer our clients for a while. And if you're interested in something like that, definitely come check us out. One way you can meet us and see what we're all about is to come learn from us during our free blockchain wallet challenge. And if you're interested, check out the link in this video. And other than that, I think that's all I have to say for this week, but keep going. It's gonna happen. If you're in crypto and you're losing hope, every time Bitcoin dips, I would buy some more and someday it'll pay off. Not financial advice, of course. And good luck out there. Let us know if you have questions. We'll see you another time.
And that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you found something valuable or interesting in what we discussed. And if you did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. And until then, stay curious.